They appreciate that. All right. Emails. Snake Forest, Alberta, Canada chapter from Dwayne. He says, my name is Dwayne and I live in Alberta, Canada. And I just got my Brothers of the Serpent cap in the mail. Thanks so much for the interesting videos you make. I love the bumper music. Kyle should make spacey ambient music. Only weird thing up where I live is a giant mountain called, wow, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. That has two faces in it. There's a male face staring up at the sky and a female face that's a bit harder to see. I'll attach pictures. Me personally, I think it was carved, but everyone else says it's natural. But the location has the following features: hot springs, an abundance of fresh water, lots of wild game to eat, and mild winters. In the last 10,000 years, why couldn't some bored native people climb up and carve this mountain? Anyway, thanks again for the entertaining podcast. I shall wear my snake hat with pride. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Yeah, he's got a picture of himself with his snake hat on.
Heck yeah, buddy.
Yeah. And then the mountain. I can see the face looking up.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, beautiful pictures. Yeah, you know, I never know what to think of those, you know, nature facts. Like, are we just seeing the face, or is it really there? You know, does it look like a face from all sides, or only that one side? You know,
does it have to look like a face from all sides?
Yeah, that's another question. I don't know. All right, this one is from Anonymous Ignoramus in Germany. That's what he calls himself. Greetings to the Schlangenbruder in the tin-cubed box on the Dusty Plateau. In case you didn't see this yet, here's a short quote from the following linked article. The LHCb collaboration at CERN has found particles not behaving in the way they should according to the guiding theory of particle physics, the Standard Model. The Standard Model of particle physics predicts that particles called beauty quarks, which are measured in the LHCb experiment, should decay either into muons or electrons in equal measure. However, the new result suggests that this may not be happening, which could point to the existence of new particles or interactions not explained by the Standard Model. And he says, my question is, beauty quarks? WTF. Snakes! From Anonymous Ignoramus in Germany, where everything I know is wrong. Yeah, the names they give some of these quarks, up and down, beauty, you know, strange. I like the strange quarks. Those are my favorite. A little strange. They're weird names. But yes, this was discussed quite a bit in...
Yeah, and a lot of times they say, you know, the names in many cases are not intentional. It's like a group of people in a lab doing some stuff, and and they've got all this stuff, and they're trying to talk to each other about it, and so they have weird little connections to like this one thing that they're talking about, and it develops a moniker basically, and that ends up becoming the name of the thing because they can't actually stop calling it that.
Right?
Like,
yeah. Yep. That's right.
Like what was the we had talked about this a while back about the sausage.
Yes, that's right. The freaking sausage in the galaxy.
Yeah.
And everybody's mad that it's the sausage.
But that's what it looked like. That the guy that saw it, he was like, yeah, it's kind of like a sausage-like thing. And so they were all like, the sausage thing. And then eventually that's just what it's called.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a strange one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a strange reading. There you go, strange quark. Okay. Well, it's time to cue the old fireplace.
Oh.
Thoughts and ponderings at 2 a.m. from Roddy the Mammal. He says, Dear Ophidian siblings, it's 2 a.m., the fire has died to glowing embers, and the cats are snuggled in their beds. And I am awake in the wee, quiet hours of this rainy morning, my mind awash in odd thoughts and strange ponderings. An endothermic metabolism does have its drawbacks. Anyway, I've been compiling a brief list of questions to present based upon the listening to your podcast, and thus this digital missive, which brings me to my ponderous thoughts. First, given its speed and energy requirements, emails can be seen as the mammalian version of the more reptilian and incorrectly named snail mail. with faxes being akin to the intermediary synapsids. Second, it is possible, probable even, that the ancient practice of human sacrifice is, in part, a base, corrupted, and poorly understood holdover from a much earlier, more advanced pre-Diluvian civilization's practice of developing medicinal cures from the extraction and study of blood and diseased organs of the sick and dying. Third, given the extreme precision of the interiors of the Serapeum sarcophagi, is it possible that the important content that the sarcophagi were meant to contain was the empty void itself? Perhaps to act as a resonance chamber or amplifiers to enhance the religious music and chanting of Egyptian religious rites. And fourth, why did humankind develop a concept of the soul and the afterlife? To all intents and purposes, primitive man's observations of death should have led them to believe that once a person dies and decomposes, there's nothing left of that person. What events caused early man to develop a belief that something survives after death? And fifth, contrary to popular belief, rhinoceros meat does not taste like chicken. I eagerly await your thoughts and expressions regarding these and other forthcoming matters. And as always, thank you in advance. Endothermically yours, Roddy the Mammal. Always fantastic emails. Okay, so let's see. Point 2. Yeah, I like the email version of the mammalian. Emails are the mammalian version of the more reptilian and incorrectly named snail mail. That's great. Cephamail. Let's see. The practice of human sacrifice could be a poorly remembered and understood extraction of blood and diseased organs from the sick and dying. That's
interesting.
It's a very interesting thought. Yeah. And yeah, we do ponder the question of what is the deal with sacrifice. I still like the one that, where these people get the idea that the gods demand the death of things because every once in a while they show up and destroy the planet. And so to keep them from destroying the planet again, you kill stuff in the name of the gods. I don't know. That's probably an oversimplification. And yes, the interior of the boxes in the Serapeum being to contain the void itself, in other words, for resonance or something, that's definitely possible. I don't know.
Yeah, I struggle with that, just like any other theory that we've come up with or that anybody has come up with. You can make a resonant chamber much easier than that, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to drag gigantic single-piece granite boxes down into a tiny cave.
Right.
That have, perfectly precise edges. A simple tiled room, with some fairly parallel walls, not machined parallel walls, but for example, I was in a studio in Austin. It's Willie Nelson's studio, Pedernales Studios, and there's a room in that studio. It's framed out like a modern building. There's nothing special about it, but they closed off the room, and there's a very small doorway to get into the room, and the entire thing, all walls, floor, and ceiling are tiled. Mm.
Yeah.
And so it's a reverb room. It's crazy in there how reflective, how much reverb is in that room. And so, it was used for, you can stick a microphone in there or put an amp in there or just whatever you're doing. You could sing into the opening with a mic and you've just got this reverb, or you just sing in the room and you leave that opening up and put a mic in there.
Right. Okay.
And inside that room is going to be the reverb of your voice or whatever's making noise out in the rest of the room.
Yeah. Wow.
So there's much cheaper ways and easier ways to make very effective resonant chambers for sound.
Yeah.
So it's hard to imagine the why you would go to such great effort.
Yep.
To do it. But so there's my skirp derp of your theory, my friend.
Here's your weekly skirp derp of the next Serapeum theory. Okay. Why did humankind develop a concept of the soul and afterlife? That's another great question. And I think, there are plenty of answers to this, that are, they're all guesses. One is that it's a coping mechanism. I think popular idea of people who don't believe that there is an afterlife is that a belief in an afterlife is a coping mechanism for death. People who don't want to believe that when they die, that's it. It's oblivion. And so they've come up with these convoluted theories that that the ego continues, or that something continues beyond life as we know it. But I don't know. I mean, in some cases, it seems like spiritual experiences are what formed this. And of course, then you have near-death experiences, where people almost die or do completely die, but are revived, and they come back with this story of going into some other place and being conscious there. And so,
yeah, I'd see there's a lot of different things that that happen to people involving their consciousness beyond their physical ability to explain, at least the ability to explain with physics, tangible physics, not, because we're studying the brain and all this kind of stuff and trying to find answers for why we dream, or why certain people can have visions, what is going on with hypnosis, and
right.
Feelings of communicating with higher beings and these types of things. And I think that the fact that we have this consciousness aspect to us is just, it's like the natural question. Once you really start to think about it, where is this thinking coming from in the first place?
Yeah.
And I think until science can give us demonstrations of like, we've figured out consciousness completely, and here's how we can simulate all this stuff. And then I think that's going to continue to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
And maybe science will figure out that it's not what they think it is.
Right.
So who knows where it's going to go. But I actually had a story that I chose not to do that was about this very thing. Mm. And I deleted the bookmark by accident.
Oh, no. I guess it's intended to remain a mystery, folks.
Well, maybe I'll do it next time. I'll try to find it.
All right. This is from John. It's called Best Podcast Ever. Wow.
Yeah, thank you about it.
Yeah. It says, hey, you guys are a great team. I started watching Randall's vids a few years ago after the Joe Rogan episodes with him and Graham Hancock. Found you and your podcast after watching the first Randall vid. Now y'all got me wrapped up with Ben and a few others. I love what you were doing so much. We need to have a better understanding of what's going on above us and what happened before us and under us. I've been watching from the get-go. I like to listen to you guys when I'm shooting my bow. It's like I can get info and kind of meditate at the same time. It's a good system. So I live on Lummi Island in Washington State, or Lummi, Lummi. I just bought a sailboat. It's a 28-footer. I'm going to be sailing around out here where the ice sheet was, and I'm going to take a bunch of pics of everything.
Yes.
And I wanted to extend an offer also. If you guys are ever out this way and want to go out on a sailboat, I got you covered.
Oh, my God.
I have friends with bigger boats also. A lot of cool people who like cool people. I want to make it to one of your gatherings, too. A few weeks ago, I drove over to the east side and met a Tinder lady. LMA. That was great. I had acid for the first time ever with this strange chick. For your information, we're galactic explorers over here and got everything handled. Come on out. It's the sale. And I'll around and check out this geography. It's amazing. Of course, I'm not expecting you to read this entire diatribe or even a part of it on the show. You have my permission to use any of it and all of it or in any capacity you see fit. Thank you so much. Seriously, you've expanded my brain at least 33%. Snakes! Well, I read the whole thing, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. That was great. I like the way you made it sound like he was so busy. He was like on his boat, and he's like he's like trying to pull. He pulls the sail around and ties it off and then types the email real fast. Right. Grab the wheel. Yeah, you sound like you were real busy.
Yeah. Real busy over there, buddy.
Dude, I would love to go sailing, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we should
definitely do that. I appreciate the offer.
Yeah. All right, one more before we take a break here. This is from, let's see. Oh, there's no name. From Anonymous. It's called WTF 5 Sons.
How's it going, Johns?
Hey, boys, I've been listening since some of the earliest episodes and have thought about writing quite a few times. Today, I finally won a single battle against inertia. I love the connections that regularly pop up between the themes and ideas on your show and seemingly unrelated material I've taken in years ago and now get to go back and look at fresh with these eyes. Russ.